Blue Table fans, it's time. It's time for a War Machine bat rep. Yes, the werewolves. The werewolves are circling in the forest. I'm here with this guy, Spencer.
Hey.
Can you be on, too? Can you be on it?
That's a blurry
You're kind of in the background now.
Witness protection.
Are you? He's one of, hey, and here's Brannon, who's your daddy, Vader. I don't know. His name's Brannon. So, all right. Yeah, so we're playing 35 points. We're playing on this awesome board. Oh, yeah. This is Mercenary Cove. And, yeah, I just got to get my stuff together and we will get cracking. All right, folks, it's time. We've picked our army lists. Let me give you a redux. Before I show you my army, you should know I'm using alternates from Rackham. These are out-of-print figures. I love them, always liked them, and they're fantastic. It's the army I never want to get rid of. Okay, so here it comes. I have 2 Warpwolf Stalkers. Remember, these are alternate figures. These aren't the regular published ones. So there they are. A Pureblood Warpwolf. That is 28 points right there. Bam! Skinwalkers. This is a unit of Hefties, and they are 5 points. And I have Kaya and Laris. The Laris figure is the only Privateer Press figure in the entire army. And Kaya is -3 points. Now, as for the missions, some people have said, hey, Warcaster kill is an easy mission for Orboros. And it has been. I circle around until eventually I go for the throat. But today we're going to play No Man's Land, which is also caster kill, but also there is an 8-inch strip down the middle of the board. This is the board we're using, so this will be my side. This will be Spencer's side. And there's an 8-inch strip right down the middle. And basically, starting turn 3, if you got models in there and your opponent doesn't, you win the game. Just like that. And that's what it is.
Okay.
We'll put up markers so it'll be easier to see it. Okay.
All right. So I'm taking a Cygnar army, and I'm using an Alistair Kane Tier 4 army, the Sons of Tempest. So we have 2 squads with their unit attachment, their officer, and their Jack Marshalling hunters, and then they're all facing the wrong way. Kane with the defender in his battle group, 2 Captain Adepts, and the Black 13th.
All right, folks, I finished deploying, and while my opponent is deploying, I'm going to go ahead and give you a tour of the table. This is a 4-foot by 4-foot table called Mercenary Cove, and we plan on expanding this notably. So what you have is you have some docks down here, and these ramps tend to really open this area up and create some interesting tactical situations. This is water, so this is impassable. This is considered deep water down here, but you do have these lower docks. Sometimes the action does spill over down there. And check out this little rope bridge. Isn't that fantastic? I just love that piece. Okay, and then you have the buildings, obviously, and yeah, we're treating these as impassable. So the citizens have locked and boarded up their dwellings here. These are just rough terrain, but you can go into them, a little bit like forests. So actual line of sight, you could conceivably shoot through some of these, not that one, but definitely some of these little stands here. And what else? You have this wonderful little road here. So something tells me, oh, and I also put these markers. This is your 8 inches right there. So to win the game, it's after turn 3, you have to get your opponent out of the no man's land, and really just a plain and simple win. I have a feeling this is going to be kind of where the battle turns out to be here, because basically if you're up here, that is tough to root someone out of that. And I got my work cut out for me because I got the Warpborn Skinwalkers. Well, guess what? They gotta go through a hail of withering fire to get up there. So I really think that is going to be a real toughie. But you know, the opposite could be true as well. That you know, I could slip down to the docks and then just march right up the lane here undercover, basically, and take them all out as I go along. So that's some tactical things going on here. And this board is really quite interesting. As a side note, we are planning on creating a second 4-foot by 4-foot. So imagine this, and then duplicated, but no docks on the other part. It'll just be like a hill. If anything, it might go yet even higher. And we are going to populate it with a ton of buildings. This company here, their name is Custom Kingdoms. And by the way, they are one of the best values in the terrain industry. What you get for what you pay is incredible. Absolutely incredible. A finished piece like this, I think they're retailing at about $60 right now, and the detail on it is outstanding. They're a pleasure to own. These guys, I hope they've got enough business for me plugging them, because it is with cause. They sent me all this stuff as swag-tastic swag for me to plug it. Actually, this and about double more. We have a bunch of stuff from them. And so anyway, what they did is they sent us a bunch of extras and miscasts of just the tiles. So, because every building, if you look inside it, each building is composed of like little 4-inch by 4-inch tiles. And and they're just glued together, quite expertly, I might add. So anyway, but what we plan on doing is getting boxes. Like, we're just going to construct a flat sort of skeleton underneath, and then we're going to paste the tiles on and then paint them, and effectively make much larger buildings than they would normally allow if you just constructed them this way. Really a template. And we're going to add a bunch of other stuff. We have a bunch of steampunk type materials, and we're going to create a whole city for it. So I'm really excited. Okay, cat's out of the bag. As you probably guessed, that is for the June Valhalla, which is in approximately 3 weeks. It's close. We do have one glorious ticket left. We have one room still open for that. And yeah, it's not too late to jump in on the experience of lifetime.
All right, so the way we deployed this here is kind of symmetrical. There's a group of the gun mages up top, and they've advanced deployed the hunter up there a little bit, and I'm using a journeyman to actually represent one of the adept gun mages. There's another one of those down here with the Black 13th, Kane in the middle, and another force over in the dock. So see what they're going to do over there.
Fantastic. By the way, good job on your deployment.
We'll see.
I'm going to call it the let's split up, we can cover more ground deployment style.
That's the best thing.
Now, just in fairness, you can, if you want, have a chance to redeploy, because technically you haven't finished. This is not a good deployment against this particular army.
Yeah.
And here's why. Because the werewolves are going to pick you off one by one Batman style. So, basically, yeah. Fair is fair, Spencer. Fair is fair. Now, but maybe you have some kind of strategy. I don't know. But I should tell you that.
Once before,
Okay. All right.
maybe. So the strategy is lacking.
Okay. Well,
But
now's your chance.
give me a second to think about
There
this.
you go. Well, and let me, just for the viewer's sake, let me kind of explain how this works. Kaya has an upkeepable spell that gives her entire battle group stealth, which means you can't shoot at them if you're from over 5 inches away.
These captains in either of the gunmakers team nor stealth.
Ah! All right, never mind. Your deployment is sound. Let's go. Let's roll. I'm the first turn. All right, so I ran my Wartborn Skinwalkers. I'm just going to take my turn in like 2 minutes. So 10 inches forward there. Didn't quite get into the zone, but it doesn't really matter at this point because it doesn't count for victory until turn 3. Where's your Warcaster, by the way? Isn't he over here?
He's back here.
Yep, that's what I thought. Okay, I'm going to spend 5 and put up stealth, and that's for the battle group. So that's basically everybody except for the Piper and then these guys have stealth. Get a marker out for that. I have like an eyeball or something in here for you. that's not it. There's no eyeball. All right, well, forget about that. She's also going to put Forced Evolution, which is +2 defense, +2 strength on this guy. And then Kaya is going to mosey on up 6 inches, right here, ploink. I'm going to activate the Warpwolf Stalker. They can run 12 and they have Pathfinder. So I'm just going to zip them up like this. And away we go. Now, did you say your captains only make their own unit ignore stealth?
Correct.
Okay, great. So there we go. And we're going to zip Lars up. He has Pathfinder and a 7-inch movement, so he's going to run like that. And got to keep my Piper going here. And she is going to zip up like this. And she's going to cast an Animus of something within 6 inches of her. She's going to use Forced Evolution. Excuse me. What's that called? Lightning Strike. And put it on him. That allows him, if he kills something, he can move, make a full advance. By the way, that was really a useless item because it expires next turn. I'm not killing anything this turn, basically. But because I could do it, I did do it. And by the way, I'm going to fudge just a little bit because she only has one thing on her. I do need to rile my war beasts by 2 and also by 3. Riling means when they go, you just put Fury on them. That way she can leech it and use it for her spells and activities next turn. And that is my turn. What does it say on there for time? And that's why I love Orboros, because I'm playing a 35-point game with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, like 9 models. And it goes really fast, and all of your abilities are really compacted. But really, it doesn't take that much longer to move a whole unit of 6 guys, which is one of the reasons why I really do love War Machine and Hordes. Oh yeah, it's fantastic. Okay. All right, here's Spencer. He's pontificating his move.
Still thinking about this.
He's thinking about his move. All right, Brandon. Brandon's going to take the camera, if you don't mind. Okay, great. So Brandon plays Orboros as well, right?
Yes.
So what you see on my side of the board is a 35-point army, and consists of 9 models, and it's an epic Kaya list. In War Machine and Hordes, you can have what's called a tiered list, which is if you follow the rules, you get bonuses, right? So I actually have made mistake 1 of the game, which is I didn't notice that I had those. So tier 1 is if I have only the models listed as permitted for the tier list, then the heavy war beasts gain advanced deployment. And I don't even know what that means. It means you can go a certain amount, like he did with his guys, he can go a certain amount out of his deployment zone. That would have actually helped me here, because as you see, these guys could have been up against here and not out in the open. So I gotta watch out. I think these hunters have like a 12 or 14-inch range, so I'd better be careful. Yeah, I had better watch out. I'd better not cry. So tier 2 is I have to include Warpborn Skinwalkers, which, behold, I do. 5 points for 3. And the benefit is they gain advanced deployment too. So I'd better pay attention. Otherwise, I probably wouldn't take Warpborn Skinwalkers. I like the whole thing where I'm running around. Typically, they're just troublemakers. But you have to consider that I've been playing only beat the other guy up games and no objective-based games. And that's where your units of guys come in more handy, because they can operate independently and rove around, as opposed to moving in a massive death ball, around the board really fast. Tier 3 for Kaya includes 1 or more Druids of Orboros units, which I have the models for them, but I did not have the points for this game. So to do a tiered Kaya list, you're going to need to be playing at least 39 points. And here's why. Because I would have added 7 points to get, I believe it is 5 Druids of Orboros. So that would have put me at 42, right? And then the benefit for including the Druids is +1 on your starting game roll. No, that's not bad. Tier 4, which is you made the list exactly like it's supposed to, more or less, is if you include 2 or more heavy war beasts, well, you're doing that anyway, right? The heavy war beast cost is reduced by 1, so that takes you from 42 to 40, 39, 41, 40, 39, 39 points for that list. And I do highly recommend that. as a list. By the way, we are a commission painting service, which it means you contact us, you tell us what you might like to have done, we give you a quote, and we have all these wonderful spreadsheets. You don't have to use them, but they're there. And you just type in the quantities of each thing you want. And at the bottom, it tells you how much the models would be, how much the assembly would be, and how much the painting would be. It's really quite wonderful. And I do have someone that does that full time. His full-time job is only to give you quotes for whatever it is that you might like to have done and to answer your inquiries. And also give you a little bit of inspiration too. Like ideas, what conversions, what specialty bases, what kind of, what's that called? Like the good stuff in your army, the inspiration, the awesome in your army. So, by the way, I'm filling time radio host style while Spencer does his thing. No hurry, Spencer,
No, I'm just gonna go
because I
ahead
am rather
and start,
long-winded,
pay for mistakes
and I can
later.
fill the time. I always underrated that ability, but not everybody can just keep talking and never stop talking, and just keep going and going and going and going and going. It's really a talent, actually. In fact, my mother once told me. That'd be funny if I went into a whole anecdote. One morning I woke up. What am I going to be like when I'm old? I actually think the opposite is going to happen. When I'm old, I'll probably be quiet.
You've used up all your words.
Yep. I'll be out of memory. And so one morning I got out of bed and made myself a piece of toast. I set the toaster on medium brown. Okay, so that I do recommend Epic Kaya. I've only played games where it's like kill the cast or kill the war beasts. So I don't know how she's going to work in objective-based games, but maneuverability and the ability to strike hard is, and then retreat, cannot be underrated. And I just have a feeling Spencer's going to make some kind of mistake.
Oh yeah.
And I'm gonna pick him off. Basically, I'm gonna roll up one flank, or he's just gonna circle in, close the net, and blast me like the beasts I am. Because Cygnar has a werewolf problem right now. The games that I've played have been against human settlements, and they've been hunting me. They've been hunting me all over the countryside. And all right, well, that's it. We'll get back to you when Spencer is done. All right, so Cygnar, they just advanced. The gun mages are moving up this direction. Where's your warcaster? Is that this guy right here?
It's this guy here.
I have no idea what he does. It would do well for me, instead of sitting here jabbering, to grab my Cygnar book and try and figure out what spells that guy has, because the warcasters definitely changed the flavor of the game. So he's moved all his guys. This is where they moved. I think they just moved out from behind that building and out into the open. It's really firing line versus whatever it is, versus stealth. These guys don't have stealth though, so these guys are out of range. That is actually about 16 inches right there. But we do have this hunter down here, and he's looking up the stats on the hunter.
Hunters has range of
see.
14.
Okay, I'm
And so
ready.
Jack Marshall was able to
Force
give
him?
him one of their bullets, I guess, so he can
Really?
snipe.
Oh, I don't like
So
that.
he can use 16 inches.
Okay, so plus 4
try to
inches.
get
Well, that's definitely within range.
That's gonna be-
But let's measure it anyway, just for fun.
Yep.
Okay, I'm ready.
So I can line of sight as well.
Okay, my defense is 12. I am probably getting some cover there. So I'm going to say 14.
Okay. He's got a rat of 7,
Okay, go ahead.
and I think the Jack.
Well, you know what? No, I think that is a clear shot on this guy. Okay, go ahead. 7. So you got to roll a 5 or higher.
Jack Marshall can boost his.
Okay.
Boost his attack roll.
Okay, I'm ready.
I hope that's correct.
I have no idea. Oh wow, look at
looks like
that.
a
Is there
great
some
hit.
kind of critical?
Not.
Okay, so that's a hit. So roll damage. My armor is 16.
The way with his weapon works, if a medium or large base,
Uh-huh.
their armor is halved.
Okay, great.
But that's not that bad because my power is only 6.
Okay, well I'm down to 8 armor then.
Right, so
Oh
dice
no, that's great.
minus 2.
Okay, I'm ready. 6.
Not too
All right,
bad,
so 2
2
damage. All right, so I marked off 2 damage boxes on my die number C here. So you can see those being marked off with a black pen. And I do believe that concludes Cygnar turn 1. All right, so top of the second for the Orboros player, I'm going to leech 2 Fury from this guy, bringing me up to 3. 3 Fury from this guy, bringing me up to 6, which is my maximum capacity. So Kaya now has 6 Fury on her. I'm going to upkeep both Stealth. That's for the entire battle group, so that's the 4 War Beasts. And I'm also going to upkeep for 1 point the Forced Evolution on this Stalker. All right, here's the sit rep. Moved my Skinwalkers up here. I was actually going to move them their full 10 here, but then I would be in a situation where these guys could possibly move up, and then they would get no cover. So here I'm definitely getting cover, and I'm still within a reasonable charge range, unless these guys back up, in which case I might not be able to see them at all. I'm really not sure how exactly that will play out, but I have decided to just cool it and not run them entirely up. Now, the Pureblood Warpwolf, he has something called Ghostly, which is an ability he confers to other Warpwolves nearby, and that means they can run through solid objects. So what I'm going to do is, because if you look at the board here, there's kind of this little sweet spot right here where you can't be seen by anything, but you can. There is this little crack right here. So, and my guy, again, because of Ghostly, if I can just see around a corner, that allows me to just run through the corner of the building and attack if necessary. So the werewolves are circling. I'm going to be moving all my heavy warp beasts right up through this building. Startled peasants inside are like, see these giant creatures like run through. Yeah, look at Brandon. He's laughing. He's like, I like these wolves. I can tell he's thinking that. All right, and then I'm going to cut Laris actually back the other way. Laris is a bit of a focal point, because what you can do is you can use her feet, which is they all teleport to her at the end of the turn. So you use her feet, you bring her to Laris, and so wherever Laris is, the whole army can be there at the end of any given turn. So you basically, I usually keep Laris going as kind of an outrunner or a troubleshooter. Like I keep him kind of off from the main pack, just in case I want to retreat to whatever his position is. Okay, so this is how it looks at the end of my turn. Kaya moved up here from down there. I jetted Laris, just like I said, down to that. And I don't think he'll be able to be targeted by anything. I am being careful, though, to keep him within 12 inches of Kaya. And so now another alternative might have been to go like that, so he could see out. But quite frankly, I am really worried about that hunter, because the hunter can, really put the hurt on a light war beast like Laris. And that's not Laris's job. Laris's job isn't to run out and kill something and get himself killed. He's not on a suicide mission. He's on a reconnaissance mission. So I've kept him back just a little bit. And minding my facing, if for some reason something does come out here, I'll be in a position to charge it. Possibly, this is a bit of an obstruction here. Obstruction or obstacle? That really is the question. Move my Piper up. She's pretty safe down here. Yeah, actually, probably not so safe. Like the hunter, if you wanted to go on a suicide mission, could come up here and probably snuff the Piper. But there you go. You got to put a pawn out as bait sometimes. I'll put the Piper's 2-point value against probably what that is, probably 4, 5, or 6 any day of the week. And that concludes Orboros turn 2. So Spencer, you're up. So if you are going to play Orboros, whatever you do, make sure you're a patient man, because you cannot run in headlong. You've got to circle. My strategy is pretty basic. It's to win the game, which is I have to get everything out of no man's land on turn 3, which, by the way, is next turn. So Spencer, for me, because it's my turn too, so Spencer has to get something in there and keep something in there this turn, which makes this interesting because, well, the gun mages, to be in it, the whole unit has to be in it.
Oh, is that right?
Mm-hmm. So really, it's the hunter has to run in, which would be interesting because then it would be if Laris could kill that hunter, that could possibly be game right there. So oddly, this scenario forces me to not just always stay at the edge. Like I have to get in there and I have to deal with problems. So so Spencer's good move right now is going to be just try and hold it for a turn, because these are, I'm dealing with the militia. Like, I mean, this is, I guess, the classic thing, which is the Cygnar are the entrenched foe here. If he also is patient and also just makes sure his guys stay in formation. That's the bane of Orboros. The bane of Orboros is people who don't lose their wits and they stay in formation. They hold their ground. They don't just run off because they heard a twig snapping out in the forest. Hey, I think I heard something. I'm going to go off by myself and investigate. Oh, there he goes. Look what he's doing. He's bringing the hunter over here. Now I'll never get him out of the deployment zone. Now, see, and that was actually a really fantastic move, because now I have to deal with this. Because next turn, this whole thing's going to be in the deployment zone.
This is where it gets tricky, though, to keep everybody in unit coherency and him Jack marshalling distance.
The problem is, what Spencer's forgetting is I can also win by killing every single last thing on the board. So, okay, go ahead, move those guys up, have them just sit there while I condense, because that's what I've done. It's ye old outflank. I have my entire army, exception, my entire army all clotted up quite nicely right here. Oh, and by the way, the werewolves can run through walls. And so I don't know how Spencer's going to deal with that. Of course, he really, if you look at this, Laris is kind of a freebie. So he's got about 10 points over. He's got about a third of his army over here. So I have my entire army effectively sitting right here. Let's count Laris for 3. So I have 90% of my army sitting over here against 2/3. So the only question is can Spencer somehow use the terrain to his advantage and somehow keep his army in formation so I don't absolutely just pick it apart? That is the question. I'd also like to point out that it is Spencer's anniversary today. And is that okay? Can I say that?
That's fine. My wife's letting me hang out for a little while. We're going out tonight.
That is, so Spencer, apparently what he thinks is romantic is run off and play war games.
She's loving
I'm going to predict you're at less than 15 years then.
Yes.
Okay, great. At 15 years, that's when you realize that you don't have to remember any of the mistakes you make, because there's no reason for two people to remember the same thing. All right, so he's going to do some shooting. I am ready. So I'm gonna be claiming +2 defense. Well, if you can see him at all, can you hold on just